So for this project, what you need is medium weight yarn or any yarn type of your choice. I'm using milk cotton 200 grams. Then you need a pair of scissors, a hook. I'm using 4 mm, and then your tape measure. I'm making this in a size XL, so I'll have to make a chain that is equivalent to 19 inches. So first of all, you make a knot and then you create a chain. Okay, so we have a length of 23. I know I said 19 earlier, but I have to take into account other factors. So this is 21. When you stretch it, it can go as far as 24. So it gives room for maybe a fupa or something, since it's a size XL. So the rows are going to be vertical instead of horizontal. So you so the first row is going to be a row of double crochets. So you yarn over and insert in the third chain from the hook, yarn over, put in the next chain, yarn over. You have 2 loops on the hook, then yarn over again. That's basically how to make a double crochet. So you continue till you get to the end of the row, and then we'll move to the next pattern or stitch pattern for the top. So there's 1 chain left at the end of the row. So you yarn over, insert in the chain, yarn over, pull through, yarn over, pull through, then pull the stitch, fasten it, and there we have the first row. So for our second row, we're going to chain. For our second row, chain 2, yarn over, insert in the next stitch, yarn over, pull through 2 loops, yarn over, pull through 2 loops. That'll give you a double crochet. So what we are doing next is to make a chain. 1 chain, skip 1, and then insert a double crochet in the next, another double crochet in the next, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, skip 1, chain 1, skip 1, double crochet in the next, double crochet in the next, and you keep this going till you get to the end of the row. And we are going to just repeat these 2 rows for the entire width of the dress, of the top. So you can decide to use your bust measurement divided by 2 for the back panel, but because this yarn in particular stretches, if you are going to use milk cotton, I suggest you use the measurement for across back, that's shoulder to shoulder, so it doesn't become too loose on whoever is going to wear it. So we are done with the back panel now. So we are going to measure it. This is the length of the top. Remember when we started, we had a length of 21. So now let's see, 20.5, and that's even because I stretched it. So that have probably been 20. So I recommend any measurement you take. I took a measurement of 19, made a chain of 21, and it has shrunk. It shrinks because of the spaces in between. So I recommend adding an inch or 2 to whatever measurement you take for the length, so you don't end up with something shorter than you expected. So for the width, shoulder to shoulder, we have 18. Yes. Let me do it this way so you all can see. shoulder to shoulder is 18.25 kinda. So you can just say 18. So for your front panel, you start the same way you started with the back panel. But for the cutout area, to be able to calculate that part, count the number of rows you have for the back panel. So for this one, we have 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18, 20, 22, 24, 26, 28, 30, 32, 34, 36, 38, 40, 43 rows. So the middle row will be the 22nd row. So for the cutout, it has 5 rows. So this is the middle row. Then you count 2 on each side. You mark it. I marked it with a pin. I left my stitch markers elsewhere, so I marked it with a pin. So you count 2 on each side to give you the 5. So you know that when you start with the front panel, because this is 43, when you take each side will be 22 independent of the middle row. So since you've taken 2 rows off of each side for the cutout, that means I'm going to make about 19 rows for the front panel. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16, 18. Yes, 19 rows before I make the cutout part. And then I continue with the next 19 rows. So I'll meet you when you get your 19 rows or whatever rows complete based on your measurements. So I'm done with the 19 rows for the front panel, and I'm about to make the cutout area. So I took a measurement for the cutouts to know like how deep the neckline should go, because not everybody wants like their breast showing. So based on my customer's measurement, we have about 28. We have 28 spaces for the length. So for the cleavage part, the cutout, I'm going to do it 16-12. So I'll crochet up to the 16th space. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12, 14, 16. Okay, so this is the 16th space. So the last stitch will end here on this very first one. Then this place will be the cutout. So I'll crochet up to this point for 5 rows. Then we continue. So we have our 16 spaces now. So we are going to continue for 4 more rows. Row 2 is done. Moving on to row 3 and then row 4 and 5. So I'm done with the cutouts of 5 rows. So we are going to proceed with the opposite neckline. So you are going to count the number of stitches here. From here right up to the stitch before the cutout. So this is a total of 39 stitches. which means I'm going to make a chain of 40 to account for the turnaround. So 40 chains done. Turn the work around, and then your first double crochet will be in the third chain from the hook. You continue to get to the bottom of the row, turn your work over, and then do the row with the spaces and alternate it like you did with the back panel till you get the same number of rows as the opposite side before the cutout, which in my case is 19. Okay, so we are done with the front panel. As you can see, this is how the cutout will be. Because of the cutouts, the front panel may tend to look like longer than the back panel, but just because of the cutouts. And I think it actually helps to accommodate the breast without having to make it big. So it will stretch and cover the breast area. And then when you lace this part up, it holds it very well. So I'm going to be joining the two panels together on this side and this side. So for the armhole, you're going to measure the width of your arm, your bicep. So I got a measurement of 16 inches. So that means I'm going to be making leaving an allowance of an inch, so 17 inches. So that means I'm going to measure from top to down. I'm going to measure 8.5 inches there. So I'm going to join it from this part downwards. Same for the opposite side. And then for the top, I'm not going to seal the whole thing. We have 9 holes on each side. So instead of sealing the entire thing, I'm going to leave 3 and seal this part. So it kind of makes this place look like a flap to accommodate the neck. So let's get on with it. So we're going to use single crochets to join the two parts together to create the seam. So you pass it through one stitch here and then through the opposite stitch. Pull it out into a loop, yarn over, pull it through, and that's just it. So you get your required length. So we are done joining the two sides together. So we'll work on the sleeve now. So we'll start from underneath the armhole, sorry, so that the seam line will not be visible. So you insert your hook here and you're going to go around to make it look like an extension of this. So instead of just doing it separately and joining it together, you just start from here. Insert your hook and yarn, slip stitch, and then chain 2. So you see the last row here is a double crochet row, so you just continue with the chain row, as I like to call it. So the chain 2 here is also a double crochet, so you put a double crochet in the next stitch, chain 1, double crochet in the next, chain 1, double crochet, chain 1, skip 1 stitch, double crochet in the next 2 stitches till you get to the very last one, and then you continue the next row with a double crochet row, then come back to this one, keep alternating till you get the length of sleeve you want. For the one I wore, I just wanted a baby sleeve, so I made 6 rows, but this one is going to be longer. So see you when I'm done with the sleeves. Then we work on the neckline and the lace and also the tassels. Okay, so we are done with the sleeves. I did 10 rows at each part, and I did a single crochet from the back running towards the front for the neckline to make it look more presentable. So now we're about to put the lace. For this, you're just going to make a chain 3 times the length of the neckline. So you measure here, here, and here, and multiply by 3. So this is 9 centimeters, 9 centimeters, that's 18. 2 centimeters, that's 20. So 20 times 3, 60 centimeters. So this chain is 60 centimeters long, and I'm going to fix it right here. We are not going to lace it to the very top. We are going to leave a bit of space. So now for the tassels, you need to get something to wrap your yarn around. I want my tassel to be quite bigger than the first one, so I'm using this, my pen drive case. So I have to wrap it around and then cut. Since we are making 2 tassels, you have to wrap as much yarn as you can, which will be sufficient for the 2, or else it will look too small, too skinny, and it won't be nice. It has to be fluffy. So as you can see, I finished wrapping, and now I'm cutting it from the top. I may end up cutting the box, but well, we need an even cut, well, as even as we can get. This is not as neat as I wanted. Okay, so we have this much. So since we are making 2 tassels, you divide it into 2. So now this is a tricky part. So you are going to cut 4 long pieces that you'll be using to tie the tassel. This is how I do it to make it easy for me. Others have their own style or skill, but I prefer this. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. So for the first tassel, you divide this one into 2, lay it down flat. Oh, I forgot. You put one of this there because that's what you used to tie. And then put this. It took a while for me to master this. I've been trying it for a long time. And the trick is to make the tassel lie almost as long as the yarn, the cut yarn. Yes, so when you align the lace or the cord or whatever, you put the other half on top of it, and then you tie in the very middle. Make sure it's tight enough so it doesn't come loose. So oh, there it is. So now you just lap it. You see they're almost the same length. Then I take the second cord and wrap around. You have to be gentle with this part because the cord may shift and then come out and you have to start over again. So now you wrap this around also as tightly as you can. 2, 3, 4. So now you tie a knot, turn it around, and tie another knot at the back. Good. So you can't leave this hanging. So what I do is I pass it through using my hook. So this will ensure it stays put and doesn't shift. Okay. So there you have it. But you realize they are very long ones. The ones you used to tie are still hanging. So you just I cut off the um yarn that was hanging, the extra yarn that was hanging from the one we used to tie. So you repeat the same thing for the next cord, the next end of the cord, and that's just about it. And your top will be ready. See you in my next tutorial. Ciao.